And put it upar and put it down. Okay, that's me smiling. Today I'm coming to you from planet Earth. Episode 6, Spiritual DNA. So this is me talking about life, experiences, cinema, and hopefully not in a way in which it'll pakao you. This is Mad-Vani coming to you from planet Earth, and let's not talk. Okay, let's re-talk. Okay, let's detox. Okay, let's talk again. Om. Or is it AUM? This philosophy and these books from my father, from Amita's father, who was a Sanskrit scholar, an Ayurvedic doctor, freedom fighter. And so everything from the Bhagavad Gita to the Ramayana to the Mahabharata to so many books on yoga, etc. were there. From Bharti Vidya Bhavan, my father had lots of books from Bharti Vidya Bhavan. They surrounded me from my childhood. They were there for me to sometimes read, sometimes I think just through osmosis. I got, it imbibed, it just came into me. And I remember the first time that I started using it in my work, using this force or the spirituality or philosophically, sort of how do you speak in that kind of way. I started using it in my work was, there was an ad that Aggie came to me with, which was for organ donation. And the ad was actually in a home. People in India, I think organ donation is something which we were not quite used to at that time. I don't know about it today. And I said, maybe what one needs to do is say, it's okay if you donate your organ when you get reborn, because it's not as if you're not going to get reborn with that organ or without that organ, etc. And I felt maybe there is a way that we could speak to the public and speak to the people by saying, listen, philosophically, spiritually, it's okay if you were to donate your organs. So when we finished doing the ad is when I realized that the reverberations that of speaking spiritually, speaking with a spiritual DNA, and that is what this talk is about, okay, which is really why is it that I speak in the work that I do through spiritual kind of, in a spiritual way. And I realized that therefore, one way to reach out to the people and a way that we can actually culturally connect with the people is if I speak philosophically and spiritually. And since that time, I have used, whether it was a Nirja, I've used the Mahamrityunjay mantra right at the end when the song Jite Hai Chal is there, and it basically talks about immortality and it talks about just being everlasting. The song is composed by Vishal Khurana and the lyrics are by Prasun Joshi. Not the Mahamrityunjay lyrics, but the rest of the song Jite Hai Chal. And it's really one of those everlasting, inspirational kind of songs. Even I did a documentary on Mr. Bachchan called Everlasting Light. And his name, Mr. Bachchan's name, Amitabh, is actually means everlasting. And I said that the reason that he's everlasting is because of the light of the projector, because that is what is everlasting in our lives. And so when I speak in this kind of a way, even in Arya, I was meant to do the film Arya, and then that didn't happen. And then it took me 7 or 8 years to figure out, because I kept saying to myself, ek maa apne baap ko jail mein dalegi. Okay, so that seems like as if it's going to be a ending that people may not like, because how can you put your father in jail? And then I said, actually, if she's doing it for her children, then I think she can. But even then, I was not able to wrap it. And then I used the Bhagavad Gita at the end of Arya 1, and where it talks about what's your dharma. And if your dharma is that you're a mother first and not a daughter, and if that's the role that you're playing, then that is what is allowed. And so when I wrapped it within the Bhagavad Gita and I spoke about it through the Bhagavad Gita, I felt it was more approachable and that people would actually connect with it. And therefore, the reverberations of that, because when you use Sanskrit, and I'm using Sanskrit a lot, I've used it, in fact, in another ad that I did for Adidas, which was on Sachin Tendulkar, and I remember Shankar Ehsan Loy did the music, and I went to Shankar Ehsan Loy and I said, we'll write the Sanskrit shloka ourselves, and when you see the ad, you'll discover that actually it does talk about cricket being a religion, and sort of, and it speaks about how and when you see it, you'll feel that the Sanskrit shloka again gives it a certain reverberation. When we were doing Happy Dent, and which is one of the great things about working with somebody like Prasun Joshi, because he gets this, and at that time, it's something, obviously, Happy Dent is something that Prasun thought about. He had done a commercial for Happy Dent before, which was with Dadu. That's how it became a narrative film. And then I was speaking to Milind Dhaimade, who was a director with us, and I said, Milind, now what shall I do? And he said, why don't you make the narrative film into a montage film? And so it became a narrative film that became a montage film, which is that you recap the whole thing at the end. And then when we were doing music, Shantanu Moitra did the music from a commercial that was meant to be a demo film. It's eventually a demo film, right? You eat the chewing gum and your teeth become whiter. And then from a demo film, it became a story about, and I've always wanted to do the British Raj. And so when we were discussing it, we said, okay, it's a land that we should make it believable, because the more ridiculous an idea is, the more believable you need to make it. And then after you make it believable, then you have to elevate it. And one way to do it, to elevate anything, is by actually speaking philosophically and by giving it that whole music, which actually makes it feel like as if you're not just talking about the chewing gum, but you're talking about light. Of course, that's Prasun Joshi again with some incredible lyrics, so thanks to him. In the continuing quest of trying to figure out how to speak to our people, if you go to any bookshop, even at the airport, you'll find that the top 10 books will always have something to do with philosophy. Whether it is a book on, the autobiography of a yogi, or whether it is the monk who sold, his Ferrari. And there is all of this stuff. It's always stuff that you are vibing with, and this is stuff that you want to actually read about. So I've said, why is it that we haven't had a philosophical, spiritual film? We've had religious films, and they've worked very well, and we've had religious TV shows, and they work very well. But a philosophical film, when was the last time that we had it? Maybe Guide, and that's been a long while. And so I'm always trying to put in, even in Waking of a Nation, I've put in Kabir, because I feel that again, that can, when you talk about Chala Chali Ka Khela, though the actual wordings are by Kabir, but the music director is Samiruddin, and again, music that reverberates because of his melody. These are concepts that time is short, and in Hindi movies, they're talking about time is short all the time, And so in Waking of a Nation, I wanted to use songs to try and, again, elevate the material that we're talking about. In Dhamaka also, at the end, we've got a Sanskrit shloka, and we've got a song that says, Khoya Paya Tune Hai Kya. Again, Vishal Khurana is the music director, and this time Puneet Sharma is the lyricist. And the idea that, what have you lost in life, beautifully said by Puneet. Again, it's a thematic song about a tragic fallen hero. And so that's really, and sometimes if you pull it off, people don't know how you're using that ras. But I'm using that ras to actually make you feel what is within the DNA of our country for thousands of years. And I want to try and see how I can make a genuine philosophical film. But currently, the thriller genre is allowing me to speak philosophically. If I didn't have the thriller genre, then maybe I would not be able to speak. People would say, oh, if you just make a philosophical film, or if you make a film which is about, the elevated things in life, or the spiritual things in life, will people actually be able to connect in that way? Even music, like whether you're listening to Kabir or anything that you're using which is in the bhakti space, is stuff that really reaches out to people. So in my quest as a filmmaker, whether I'm doing Adidas or the organ donation film or Happy Dent or Neerja or Arya or Dhamaka or Waking of a Nation. I'm trying constantly to figure out how to speak in an elevated spiritual language only because it surrounded me as a child and it surrounds us. It surrounds us all the time. So might as well live in it and, sort of speak about it. So Let's Talk will return. This is Ram Madhvani. It's Mad-Vani also, and it's a mad voice that is going to be coming to you again soon.